Guys, I told you all along. DuckDuckGo is evil. I knew it. I called it. I saw it. In fact, right now, I have on the line with me Gabriel Weinberg. Gabriel Weinberg, CEO of the evil company DuckDuckGo. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I'm sure there's a bunch of reasons why you're appearing in a lot of these mainstream news outlets, right? It couldn't have anything to do with your apps not blocking Microsoft trackers when you use them, right?
So many reasons, though. I can give you a few, though.
I mean, I think it could harm a lot of your business.
Me too. It's very exciting.
Well, guys, as much as I would love to say I actually got Gabriel Weinberg here, I did not get Gabriel Weinberg here. In fact, you know who did get Gabriel Weinberg? It was these dumb people that I found on Twitter. I have narrowed it down to at least just a handful of articles. Now let's run through them. We're gonna take it slow, and I think this is a very important to understanding what's going on here. Okay, so let's start with point number one, right? So this is by Zed Edwards, Zach Edwards. Can't read Cloister Black. What am I? I'm not a detective. Let's read this here. Sometimes you find stuff disturbing during an audit. Okay, so let's criticize. I'm sorry, Zach. We're gonna have to stop you right there. He says, "Oh, I was doing an audit on DuckDuckGo software. Did DuckDuckGo pay you to do said audit?" What? They didn't? In fact, I don't think even Gabriel Weinberg knew. When we go further, I think we'll understand that Gabriel Weinberg didn't even know what you were talking about until you started talking about it. So if you didn't tell him that you were doing an audit, is it really an audit? The liar. You didn't do an audit. It's not an audit. Don't let people like Zach Edwards change your definition of what an audit is. This is not an audit. Audits are paid for, and audits cost tens of thousands of dollars. There are plenty of mainstream examples of audits. This is not one of them. That's problem number one, right? Problem number, and he says, you assume something must be broken in the test, but I'm confident now. The new DuckDuckGo browsers for iOS and Android don't block Microsoft data flows. And then, oh no, he's got a gif of a guy here. Oh no. And then it's like when you just make a long string of tweets and you just have a bunch of gifs from lots of famous TV shows that I never watched, it would be great to sort of get an understanding of of the situation. And it's like, wow, look at how overblown this is. And of course, you have to say it in the ether that is twitter.com. Twitter loves spread anger. All the journalists are on Twitter. So if you get them to spread your anger, it'll spread even further. I love it. All right, let's keep going. They're not new. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Zach? What a ripoff. All right. He also says they have browsing extensions. Fair. DuckDuckGo's had browser extensions for a long time now. Have their apps here. Okay. Automatically blocks hidden third-party trackers. I mean, here's another problem, okay? I'm going to get to this in a future video. Working on a uBlock origin video, and I want to talk about this, okay? We can't just go around and prance and trot around that ad blockers are perfect, okay? There's multiple reasons why they aren't perfect. I mean, there are some that only cosmetically block things. They don't actually block any of the phoning home, right? Oh, we block the network request. That means we're actually blocking them. But when you actually look deep and down, even with what most people consider the best ad blockers or ad blockers, whatever ad blockers means to you, even like the best ad blockers, if you don't configure them properly, will not block everything for you, right? And this is critical to understanding why I came to the conclusion that I did. So I'm going to keep going, all right? And he says, if you use the current version of the DuckDuckGo app, and then he's basically saying you should hope that it blocks all tracking, but it doesn't block all tracking. And he's like, oh, it doesn't block all tracking. Really, Mr. Zach? let's put your very theory to the test. So here I have in front of me the DuckDuckGo web browser, right? And the DuckDuckGo web browser is, it's about what you'd expect. This is fresh out of the App Store. No matter what one you're on, we can all agree that the Apple version is always the gimped version. It's always terrible. Apple does things and hates people doing things that are different from the stuff that they want, and have actually been hindering the process of ad blockers in the past. So trying to keep this in mind. So this is let me show you what I figured out here. So this is the stock DuckDuckGo browser. I didn't change anything in it. This is actually freshly downloaded from the App Store. And so if I'm just gonna, and I'm using this on iPad OS, right? So and you can see it has the full iPad OS support or whatever. So I'm just gonna scroll down here, and and what this website is actually an ad blocking test, right? So if you follow the link, well, you know where it is. You follow the link, you go here, and this is an ad blocking test. There's a bunch of websites like this one. I just prefer to use this one. Right? I think this one is my personal favorite, just because they have a GitHub page. If you have a GitHub page, that's how you know it's legit. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. All right, so let's confirm Mr. Zach Edwards. I don't want to be like all these stupid journalists. We're actually going to go through and confirm what's happening here, because no one on YouTube has talked about this, and I'm going to do it before they do. I have to do it before they do, or else people are going to be going crazy. And I'm going to capitalize on the Reddit mob. All right, here we go. So you'll see here that this is, after you open this website, right? So I'll refresh the page to show what this looks like. You actually just go, and then what it does is it runs a series of JavaScript to see if your tracker blocker actually functions the way it's supposed to. So if a website is able to make a network request, that means your tracking blocking isn't working, right? So you'll see here, DuckDuckGo is only 82% effective. All right, so already, I'm trying to give credit where credit's due to Zach Edwards, even though he didn't even know what the word audit means. But fine, we'll give him the benefit of. I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt here, Zach. All right. So first things first, 82%, right? You can see that obviously he missed some, and namely, if we hop back over to my computer here, right? The big named one that he calls out is for stuff like your Microsoft things, like he said he notes here Bing and LinkedIn, right? And what does he mean by this, right? So if you go here, right? So this is actually from DuckDuckGo's help pages, right? When you view ads on DuckDuckGo, according per order of their privacy policy, so if I actually visit a website here, so let's say I want to look up, I don't know, let's say I want to look up, I don't know, what if you anime did this last anime. All right, everyone, all you weebs, you love anime, right? But let's turn off eBlock Origin and let's understand what's going on here, right? So, see, when you view DuckDuckGo raw, you see these ads, right? And these ads are generated. There's usually like one or two of them generated by DuckDuckGo. And what they do is they actually pull these using Microsoft's ad network, right? So if you go here to DuckDuckGo's privacy policy, you can scroll through, and then you can actually see that viewing ads are privacy protected. So what they do is DuckDuckGo essentially acts as a middleman so that Microsoft can't actually view any information about your stuff, right? But if you click on any one of these ads, so let's click on Funimation here, right? Notice when I hover over the link, you'll see right down at the bottom here, there's just this long string of numbers and letters, right? And this is a tracking link that's generated by Microsoft, because Microsoft, Google, for some reason, this is also, let me rant about DuckDuckGo for a second. This is a real one, right? For some reason, DuckDuckGo is so reluctant to say that like the vast majority of their algorithm is built off of Microsoft. All right, I mentioned that in a previous video, but whatever. All right, okay, so go over here, right? And now if you click, so keeping this in mind, right, this means DuckDuckGo will still let Microsoft track you if you click on anything, because they are using Microsoft's ad network to actually do stuff, right? You could argue, well, maybe you could be a little more transparent about this, but I don't think anyone's actually complained about this until now. So if that's true, then I actually don't see a harm to doing any of this. So obviously, I don't want Microsoft tracking people, because Microsoft is one of the most disgusting companies to ever exist. So let's keep rolling. All right. So so let's go back to this page here. So let's verify these claims, right? We know that DuckDuckGo, the claim that Zachary Edwards says that DuckDuckGo allows Microsoft to track you, right? So let's take a look at this. Already we can see, let's see, we've already come across one red one right here, right? We can see that there's Amazon trackers. Look at that. You can see that they actually read, the site actually reads out the links that actually aren't being blocked, right? So it's important, guys, whenever you look at these, make sure that everything's actually working. So you'll see here, it's AWS Analytics Engine, blah, 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 blah. I don't actually know what any of this stuff is, right? And you can see here they actually do block Google Analytics and Hotjar and, you know, all the stuff you expect. And you can see they still even miss like this here, right? But then you'll also, but then this is what, this is where Zachary Edwards, now we have to really critique you. Look at this. He claims that they track you under LinkedIn, but what's this? I'm on the DuckDuckGo app today, and I can't. What's that? Whoa, LinkedIn's blocked. Huh? That's really really interesting. Why is LinkedIn blocked? Zachary Edwards, what are you talking about? You don't even have proof of your tests. You don't have proof that when people actually go over here and they actually look over your work, don't you think you didn't think I would just go and test these things? Look at them bragging about how they stopped Facebook or whatever, right? And it's Zachary Edwards. I'll give you credit there. You look over here, you can see Lay Facebook. They allowed some of Facebook stuff, you know. Obviously, it's probably not perfect. They must have to do some. This must have to do with something related to like whitelisting and blah blah blah. But what's right now? What's gone on long enough? It's been a couple minutes now. What's the whole point of this? The point of all of this is when it really comes down to it is this tweet stream, whatever you want to call this. You probably found it on Reddit. You probably find it on the Hacker News or some stupid news outlet. Fine. Same thing. All of them centralized back to this one tweet and to another series of tweets done by Gabriel Weinberg himself. But what's the takeaway from all of this? What does all of this actually mean, right? First off, this only consults anything from the actual apps, right? So if we go back to the actual apps here, so you'll see here that clearly DuckDuckGo's tracking is not blocking is clearly not perfect, right? They're allowing stuff from Amazon and this, but he shows tested. Let's hop back to Twitter, right? He shows here, oh, look at this. I did some tests that are on Android, right? But I haven't look, but then on my flip side, right? I have an Apple device right here, and what's that? LinkedIn is blocked. Something is seriously wrong here. This is what sort of tipped me off, where something seems really off with this, especially when he doesn't even know what the word audit means. Come on, guys, can we? And then all you have to do is make a tweet with a bunch of gifs. You know, hope it gets picked up by a bunch of media outlets, and then you just have to say a big company is lying, and then just like that, like magic, you are able to get media outlets to spread your news, and it's horrifying. Guys, this is disgusting. We need to stop this. We need, this is awful. Ugh. All right. But I don't want to I'm trying to be balanced here, okay? The fact that most people didn't know about this, the DuckDuckGo whitelisting Microsoft stuff. This has been like this for years, right? You go to like the GitHub page for this very article, right? And you can see here this article hasn't changed in the last 2 years. So clearly, this is not some sort of secret or anything, right? This has been like this for a long time. But as you can see, as with many things in open source, if people don't read it, there's only 40 people looking at it. If people don't read it, it doesn't matter. Because you get ill-informed people going online saying, look at me performing an audit on your software. And it's like, come on, guys. DuckDuckGo didn't pay this guy squat. There's no way he would have said all this stuff if DuckDuckGo paid him, right? And Gabriel Weinberg, I gotta knock you here. I knocked you in the last video. I'm gonna knock you again. If you're not, you need to be more clear with people that your search engine is just a glorified Microsoft front end with some little things here and there. Okay, you're just so reluctant to just say you're a Microsoft partner or a Yandex partner or whatever. Come on, be more transparent about that. Okay, and lastly, the ad on the ad blocking stuff, come on, guys. People you can't possibly expect like every ad blocker to be perfect, right? And I'm going to be showing this in the future, right? If ad blocking clearly isn't perfect, then like why should we say that, right? Here, let me provide a real world example to this. Allow me to demonstrate. So what I'm actually going to do right here is I'm actually going to open the Brave browser, right? So I'm going to crack open my copy of the Brave browser, right? And this is the Brave browser, about what you'd expect. I've done videos on it before, right? But let me show you something that's actually very enlightening, right? So if I go to the D3 GitHub ad block test or blah 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 or whatever, right? I actually know how it's called. So if you go to the D3 ad block test, right, as it appears on the GitHub, and then you go and allow everything and to test if how Brave Shields works, right? You'll notice that Brave Shields got 90% here, right? But pay attention. I'm bringing this up because this is actually really important. What's this? Brave is allowing Facebook trackers? The horror! This must mean Brave is in cahoots with Facebook. This means they're using misleading marketing, because when you go to Brave's website, what they're really doing is they're showing people that you can... They're just showing people... What's that? You have ad blocking? You must not have ad blocking if you let all of these things in. It's like, guys, come on. Ad blocking isn't perfect. No matter who implements it. Even if you're using something like uBlock Origin, right? Ad blocking is not perfect. Even if you just don't do anything in uBlock Origin, like this is the default settings of uBlock Origin right here, you can see right here, the default settings of uBlock Origin is actually allowing all of these ads on you, right? That must mean uBlock Origin can't say it's an ad blocker because it's allowing all of these ads to track you. And I think this is a really dangerous precedent we go down if this article gets more traction. Because if this does get more traction, what this means is the definition of ad blocker is going to be, oh, well, you didn't block everything, therefore you're not an ad blocker. It's like, that's so stupid. Like, come on, come on. I hate to rag on individuals, but I'm gonna do it again. Zach Edwards, swallow your pride, okay? I understand, like, you have passion for this sort of thing, okay? But please approach this with a more educated tone, all right? Be more mindful of like the consequence of what you're saying. I would rather have people be using DuckDuckGo than using Google, right? Or heck, worse, they could be using Bing, right? Please, come on, just think about what you're doing here. And like sounding the alarm like this is, you're not doing anyone any favors, all right? Hate being pulled out of my hidey hole like this. We didn't even record anything yesterday because we were planning on not doing anything this week. But I got dragged out of retirement because of this guy. All you need to do is you need to have a Twitter account on twitter.com, and then you need to have some sort of domain with a Medium page and some fancy text. It's like, that's all it takes to get going, guys. Not actually reading any of this garbage and understanding what's actually going on here and testing it to make sure that some bozo on Twitter is doing his due diligence. Clearly, the iOS app works fine, all right? It's not me. It's not just me. I downloaded this from the App Store today, okay? Haven't updated it since all this entire debacle. Why would they? All right, that's the end of this video. I'm done. If you like more rants, I hope this is the last video I ever make about this matter, but I'm done. All right, see you all later.